In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you another 10 albums from the 80s, this time 1987. Come on in and have a look. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you have a great afternoon. It is Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon, but I'm going to be posting this one Monday. It's kind of late in the day to post another video. I already did a video this morning. No coffee. I already had my coffee. It's a Pepsi kind of day. I'm going to be doing stuff tomorrow, so I might not be doing a video. That's why I want to post this one tomorrow. So, yeah, as I said in the intro, this is another 10 albums from the 80s, this time 1987. I've got two more to go, 1988 to 1989. And then that's going to end the series. I was planning on doing 10 albums from the 60s, 10 albums from the 90s, 10 albums from the 2000s, but it would just go on and on and on. I don't have 10 of each year in those categories to complete the series, so I think I'm going to leave it at 70s and 80s. It's been a great couple of decades worth of albums showing, 200 albums. Or it will be 200 albums. Great response. You guys are fantastic. I love you all. Really, really good response to these videos. And I plan on doing something after this, after I finish this series, so I'll let you know coming up soon. But let's get started with the albums. So from this great little box set, these are, what are they, 25 bucks? This is Echo and the Bunnymen. This is the original album series. You got Crocodiles, Heaven Up Here, Porcupine, Ocean Rain, and this one from 1987, the self-titled Echo and the Bunnymen. The fifth album by the band, released July 1987. Be the last to have drummer Pete DeFreitas, who unfortunately would die in a motorcycle accident in 1989. But great drummer on these albums. This one's got lots of great hooks. In my opinion, even though these are all great albums, this is maybe just a little edged better than the rest. You got great players like Ian McCulloch on lead vocals, guitar, and piano. Will Sargent on guitar. Les Pattison on bass. Again, as I mentioned, Pete DeFreitas on drums. A couple of great tracks on here: The Game, Bedbugs and Ballyhoo, Lips Like Sugar. Overall, a great album. A great album. And these little box sets, what, 25 bucks? Not bad deals for these little box sets here. Speaking of not bad albums, not great either. This is Rush and Hold Your Fire, the 12th album by Rush, released September 8th, 1987. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the only album with a guest artist appearing on it, not only on the track, but also in a video by Rush. So Till Tuesday, the great band, their bassist and vocalist Amy Mann was part vocalist on Time Stands Still, great track. I like that track. And also appeared in the video, kind of a cheesy video though. Come on, Rush, you can do a little better than that. But I think, as I said, it might be the only time that another artist appeared on a Rush album. This one's more pop-orientated. A lot of synths on here. The guitar's kind of held back a bit. But overall, not a bad album. You got Force 10, Time Stands Still, Second Nature, Lock and Key, Mission. Not a bad album. But again, not a great album either. Speaking of so-so albums, again, it's kind of that year. This is Montrose and Mean, the fifth and final album by Montrose, released in 1987. More of a glam metal sound than their earlier rockin' tracks and rocking albums. When I did my ranking on this band, I ranked this one fifth overall, I think. It takes a listen or two. The song M for Machine was Intended to be written for the RoboCop film, but was never used. You got Johnny Edwards on vocals in this one. Ronnie Montrose on guitar, and he also produced the album. Glenn Lesh on bass, and James Kotak on drums. Overall, again, not too bad. Stand, Pass It On, Game of Love, M for Machine, Flesh and Blood, Man of the Hour, Hard-Headed Woman, Don't Damage the Rock, and Ready, Willing, and Able. I mean, it's you can tell it's a Montrose album. It's just a lot more glam metalish than their straight ahead rock and roll and blues style that they are known for. This is an amazing album. Kicks, I love the label as well, by In Excess. Super commercially successful. The most successful album, I think, by the band. Australian rock band In Excess, October 1987. Certified 6 times platinum. Peaked at number 3 in the Billboard 200. 4 top 10 singles off of this one. New Sensation, Never Tear Us Apart, Devil Inside, Need You Tonight. Led by the great Michael Hutchence on lead and backing vocals, and the star of the band. Unfortunately, we would lose him 10 years after this album was released. But fantastic album. This one's not too bad either. This is Heart and Bad Animals. The 9th album by Heart, May 15th, 1987. Got the number 1 single on this one, Alone, which just kept them up there in the charts. Who We Run To reached number 7. There's That Girl reached number 12. I Want You So Bad reached number 49. Received a nomination for Best Rock Performance for a Duo or Group at the 30th Grammy Awards in 1988. That's a cool label as well. But overall, not a bad Heart album for sure. The great Canadian artist Lawrence Gowan, who's also the lead singer for Styx, has been for at least, 20 to 25 years with Styx. He just played here in Belleville not too long ago, a week or two ago. I didn't go, but I've heard it was a fantastic concert. Great Dirty World, the 3rd album by Lawrence Gowan, 1987 release. Multi-platinum album in Canada. You got Moonlight Desires, Awake the Giant, Living in the Golden Age. John Anderson appears on here, does backing vocals on Moonlight Desire. Tony Levin plays bass on this one. Nigel Olsson from the Elton John Band plays drums. Will Lee from the David Letterman Show plays some drums on a couple of tracks. He's got some great company on this album for sure. It's a really good album. I really like this one. And sticking with Canada, Frozen Ghost, another great Canadian band from Toronto, formed by Arnold Lanny and Wolf Hassels, who were previously in the band Sheriff. They received a Juno Award for Most Promising Group of the Year in 1987. Short-lived group, though. I think they only put out 4 or 5 albums, unfortunately. This is the debut album by the band, 1987 release. Should I See, a song about censorship, is their first single off of this album. The cover here, if you can see it, was taken in Scarborough, which is a suburb of Toronto, at the foot of the famous Scarborough Bluffs. So, true Canadians, for sure. Frozen Ghost, great band. This was not the original. This was part of the record store day purchases that I made, but this is The Eternal Idol by Black Sabbath. Originally released in November 1987 in the UK and December in the US. The first Black Sabbath album to feature the great and underrated vocalist Tony Martin. I've got a box set with the other 4 albums that he is on, and they're just fantastic. Truly an underrated artist for sure. Different band members in here. You got Tony Iommi, of course, the staple of the band, on guitars, Tony Martin on vocals, Eric Singer on drums, who was played with Kiss, Bob Daisley on bass, and Jeff Nichols on keyboards. Tony Iommi's guitar work has never faltered, especially on this album. It's fantastic. You get The Shining, Ancient Warrior, Life to Love, Glory Ride, Born to Lose, Nightmare, Scarlet Pimpernel, which is an instrumental, Lost Forever, and the title track, Eternal Idol. Awesome album, and I'm happy to find it as it's been remastered from the original analog tapes, and it's also on Ruby vinyl, which, you know, is a cool thing to have as well. I don't know what to think about this one, even though I'm a huge fan. One of my favorite bands, my favorite band, is Deep Purple. This is House of the Blue Light, or The House of Blue Light, sorry. The 12th album by Deep Purple, January 12th, 1987 release. The second album after they got back together again. This one came out after Perfect Strangers, the amazing comeback album for the Mark II version of the band. Good songs on this record, there are, but there's just something missing. It feels like the band is not into it. Maybe they used up all their energy on Perfect Strangers, I'm not sure. I know some tension got rebuilt after Perfect Strangers between between Ritchie Blackmore and Ian Gillan, that usual standoff between the two. The band itself may be playing at its best, but they weren't functioning as a band, in my opinion. Even Ritchie Blackmore says he didn't play very well. That's not exactly what he said, but he didn't play very well. John Lord said it was a weird album and hard one to put together. So again, these are top-notch musicians. They just weren't gelling on this album. I think the band was trying to make their music current, and their fans didn't like it very much. So I don't go to this one very often, but I'm still glad to have it in my collection. The only album I'm missing out of their discography is Bananas. And if I never find it, I won't be too upset if I never found it. And finally, and I just showed this one on my Pink Floyd discography video a couple of days ago, A Momentary Lapse of Reason, the 13th album by Pink Floyd, produced by Bob Ezrin and David Gilmour, released in 1987, primarily on a converted houseboat owned by David Gilmour, Astoria. The first Pink Floyd album without Roger Waters, one of the founding members of the band. Also, Richard Wright returned after being fired by Roger Waters during the recording of The Wall. So he was back in the band. Pretty darn good album. You got Signs of Life, Learning to Fly, The Dogs of War, One Slip, On the Turning Away. I love that track. Yet Another Movie, Round and Around, A New Machine Part 1, Terminal Frost, A New Machine Part 2, and Sorrow. Fantastic album. So there you have it, guys. There's 10 more albums from 1987. Coming up soon will be 1988 and then 1989. Hopefully I'll finish that in the next couple of days. And then I'll start a new series coming up soon. So stay tuned. Love you all. Thank you so much for all your wonderful comments. We'll talk again soon. Bye now.